Well, you're here. You look incredible. Knew you.
Thank
The
you.
glow up is real. Congratulations on All Star 6. Wow. What has
You
the
mean
ride been?
short-lived? Yeah, I was like, congratulations. All that. It's short-lived.
But listen, when you get invited back to be on All Stars, it's a moment.
Yeah, I mean, you know, mainly when they've asked you a couple times, and you're just like, okay, I guess I'll do it.
Well, look, your first season was season 4. Of course, I remember when you sashayed into the workroom, everyone was like, yes, we can call you Jiggly. So much has happened in your life over the last decade. It's been a decade since season 4. Take us through that journey, because you've shared so much about who you are now and standing in your truth in this season. But before coming back to All Star 6, what has life been like besides the pandemic?
So a lot of growing needed to happen. A lot of I just needed to look at myself completely different, because walking into season 4, I thought I knew who I was. I thought I was this bad bitch from New York. You can't tell me shit.
Nothing.
Then I get on Drag Race and I realize that I am a little fish in a bigger pond. You know, coming from New York, I thought like I was one of the like up and coming entertainers in New York, because I was like in and like doing all the contests here in New York. I was slaying the game. I was pretty much unbeatable.
Yeah.
Like you at Star Search, to this day, I still hold the longest reigning like winning streak.
Mm-hmm.
It's 33 weeks in a row.
I mean, that's
if you can believe that.
That's almost a year.
And yeah, and the only other person that holds a long streak from Star Search was Candace Kane for 27 weeks in a row.
Right.
So the gag is, at Barracuda Star Search, 2 trans women hold the longest winning streak ever. So coming from that and then winning a national title like Miss Universo Latina, I thought I was this big bad bitch coming into Drag Race season 4. Then I realized, no, you are not. You are a little fish in this bigger pond, and there's a shark named Sharon, and there's a fucking manta ray called Fifi O'Hara, and a big ass whale named Latrice. And I was like, fuck, I am literally out of my league. You know, and there's so many girls that they made me feel so little, not by what they did to me, because they didn't do anything to make me feel that way.
Energy.
But it's that energy of like, oh my God. And then here's RuPaul telling me, you can't sew up a shithole, which is facts. And then, yeah, it was just like, I didn't think it was gonna be as crazy and as hard as it was. Like, you know, like I didn't think Drag Race was gonna be difficult, which is what I deserve. I deserve what I got because of my misconception. But, you know, Manila tried to warn me, Sahara tried to warn me, and I was just like, yeah, leave me alone. Because I was also very content in the work that I was doing prior to Drag Race. And then realizing all this, I had to unpack so much baggage watching myself. I didn't necessarily deal with my mom's death head on until I realized watching myself on season 4, I was so broken. And nobody could tell me that I was broken but myself, because I put up a front to everybody that I was okay.
Was it, so when watching yourself back, first of all, getting on the Olympics of drag, this is on a world stage, right? You're being exposed to millions of people across the world. You were going through this trauma of losing your mom, and then watching it back on TV, you just said that's when you really had to deal with that. Normally people, when they see themselves back on TV or they have an experience like that, they're overjoyed. But for you, it was painful?
It was painful because I had to relive all those emotions
Sure.
again.
Yeah.
And I never faced it head on.
Yeah.
I always pushed my emotions and my feelings to the side because I also have my little brother that I have to live for. I had to make my brother and let everybody in my family know that I was okay and I was strong and I'll be okay. I got this.
Right.
Not realizing I didn't necessarily have it. I didn't.
Sure.
I wasn't. I tried as strong as I could
Right.
to not let me break.
But you had to.
And you have to break
Good.
so you can heal. And that's what I didn't realize.
And have a
and then
breakthrough.
Yeah, and then, coming after, I decided to seek help after season 4. I
Wow.
needed some kind of guidance.
What kind of help did you seek?
Professional. I seek a therapist because
Good.
I just needed to sort my emotions out. And then there was so much other things that I was going through. So it was a lot, I didn't even realize that being a former sex worker, jumping into Drag Race was going to be an issue for me. But, I literally left one job to do another.
Mm-hmm.
And I literally, my last client was 3 days prior, a couple days prior to leaving for Drag Race.
Wow.
So I didn't even unpack that part of my life. And then didn't unpack the stuff from it was like piles on top of piles, like so many things that I was going through. And then jumping onto the Olympics of drag, like, sure, I got this. Nah, sis, was not the case.
Tim, that drag season 4 aired in 2012. Do you feel that 8 years later, you are your truer version of Jiggly, of Bianca? You have been so open about who you are in the trans experience, living as a trans woman. When did all of that, what happened in Drag Race your first time around and everything after, did that push you to say, hey, let me just strip off all the layers. I'm done being what everybody else wants me to be. I want to be my true, authentic self. Was there one defining moment where you said, this is the new Jiggly, I have arrived?
In it was honestly like, I owe a lot of my epiphany to owning who I am and being proud of who I am to Miss Universe.
Mm-hmm.
Pia Wurtzbach, when Miss Philippines, Pia Wurtzbach won Miss Universe. Because for once in my life, I saw somebody who was similar to me.
Mm-hmm.
And in a way that, because being Asian and being an Asian brown woman, you never see anyone like you on television.
Right.
The closest one to me looking up to as an Asian woman was Michelle Yeoh or Margaret Cho. And I didn't feel like they don't represent me because, one, I'm not Chinese, I'm not Korean, I'm Filipina.
Mm-hmm.
So here comes Pia Wurtzbach on the Miss Universe stage, letting them have it. And then it's the scandal because Steve Harvey announced the wrong country. But the way she handled all of it and the way that she spoke that night, it spoke volumes to me because I saw a Filipina woman shine on television and on the world stage. So for me, I sold myself. I'm given a platform and I'm blessed with a platform that I do not know what to do with. Yes, people love my attitude, my street edge and all that. But I know that there's a bigger voice to who I am. Mm-hmm. And I represent so much more than just being myself.
Yeah.
So when I saw her, I was just like, wow, here's somebody I could look up to. I saw myself in her.
Right.
And and that's when it clicked to me that when little kids see me, they could see themselves when they see me.
Right.
Because I represent for like the chubby brown kids in the world, for like the trans community, for the Filipino kids that never get to see themselves on in a bigger stage.
Sure.
Because there's no representation for us.
Yeah.
And if it's always a representation for Filipinos, it's always like the nerds or the karate. Like anytime it's an Asian person, they're either a nerd or the karate knowing kid.
Or martial arts. Yeah, it's a fighting. It's a kung fu. Right.
And that's not all that Asians represent. You know what I mean? And mainly, specifically, Filipino Asians, that's not our bag.
Right.
That is not us. So that's when I said to myself, I need to take the responsibility of knowing that I have a name and knowing that I represent so much more than just this little street kid from New York. And that's when I was like, I need to like not switch it up, but I need to be a little bit more responsible in who I am, how I represent myself, and how I show myself to the world, because there's so many more eyes on me than I think.
Right.
Than I thought. And then All Stars 6 has definitely proven that there are so many more eyes on me than I have ever realized, because I never in my wildest dreams thought that the fandom was going to be as positive in the reception for me. I never, ever thought that.
Well, I think it has to, Jiggly. I mean, I think what that leans on is the work you've done for yourself. Because even me, like, I've known you for years. I've seen your growth. And then when watching you on All Stars 6, it's evident you are a completely different person. It's evident you've done the work. It's evident that you have grown. Yeah. So what? You can't, no, people don't understand the pressure of shooting Drag Race and competing. You can be the most put together person and still crack under pressure if you're always constantly under pressure, under a deadline. It's not a sign of weakness. People are human. You're human. Drag Race is an extraordinary experience. That doesn't happen every day to people. People aren't put in that type of situation every single day. That's extraordinary, right? So different things are going to manifest in different ways. But you had said that you were surprised by the support you've received from the fandom. I'm not, because you came back a different person. You've done the work, and that's, I mean, not to get all Super Soul Sunday with it, but the universe is rewarding you for you doing the work. And it's been so cool to see your looks, the energy, the fire. When you walked into the workroom, I was just like, sometimes I'm like, not you, but just with some of the queens, I'm like, okay. With you, it was like, yeah, absolutely, she deserves to be here for sure. Yeah, this makes sense. This makes sense. 8 years has passed. You said they've asked you to do it other times, but you turned it down. Why?
They've asked if I was interested.
Okay.
Not that if I could do it. I was asked if I was interested. I've always said yes, but the timing has never been right.
Yeah. Okay.
Because the first time, it's always, and to be honest, it's because of Pose. Pose filmed at the same time that All Stars would film, and to me, the first time around when I first booked Pose, they were very vague with, maybe they'll put me in more episodes. They don't know where the character could go. So I left. I wanted to leave that door open. Yeah. And for me, at the time, I didn't think that Drag Race, I wanted to leave the franchise. I thought that stepping away from the franchise and making a name for myself as an actress would be more important for my career than jumping back into All Stars or anything like that. Because I wanted to do more outside of Jiggly.
Sure.
So I was like, let me venture into this and see what could happen. And because of that, I was able to book other things like Playing House. I was able to book Broad City. There was another one, Search Party. I wanted to become an actress. I figured that is where the road that I need to be on.
Right.
And then another year comes, and then they ask me if I'm interested. But this time, I literally just signed a contract to be a recurring role for the whole season of season 2 of Pose. So I was
Not
just
available.
like, "Ooh, I can't." Not available. Sorry. I wish. And then season 3 comes. Pandemic hits. Pose is put on hold. So I was like, oh shit. I was like, I don't know where my job is gonna be. It's like job security I was not sure. So here comes Drag Race again. Hey, you interested? Would you do it? And in my head, I'm going, I don't want them to be like, we ain't asking this hoe no more. You know what I mean? Like it was more like kind of like when a guy continues to ask a girl. At some point, the guy's gonna be like, "No, I'm moving on to a girl that's gonna say yes."
Yeah.
So I said yes.
Well, it's like Madonna and Evita. She said no 3 times, then she did it, and the rest is history. So okay, so they ask you, you were booked and busy on an Emmy award-winning another Emmy award-winning show. And which is smart because, a lot of people, and I'm not saying a lot of people, but you had the wherewithal and the knowledge to be like, hey, let me build more. Let me be more than just Jiggly Caliente. Let me actually get into something that I'm passionate about, 1. And 2, you felt the longevity would be there. And also, again, leaning back on your evolution, that's part of you growing and realizing that, hey, I can do more. I'm standing in what I know I can do.
I'm built for more.
Right.
I'm more than just Jiggly Caliente. People never realize that the characters, the names, like the drag queens they're an extension of the human that is actually, powerhousing. Right. This basically, Jiggly Caliente is the Megazord, but Bianca is driving the bitch.
Yeah. Yeah.
And people don't ever realize that these are extensions of us. So I wanted more to I didn't also want to just rely on being a drag personality in entertainment. I wanted to be able to say, well, I'm booking myself as Bianca. And to be honest, when I auditioned for Pose, I didn't audition as Jiggly Caliente. I auditioned under my name.
Yeah.
So it wasn't until they put 2 and 2 together, oh, that's her. That's when it clicked for, Stephen Canals and Ryan Murphy and them. Even though I think Stephen Canals watches Drag Race, they watch Drag Race. I know for a fact that they watch Drag Race because when they told me that I was going to be a stress and that I can't dance, they thought it was ironic because it's such a it's completely opposite of Jiggly Caliente. And I was like, y'all think that's funny. And in my head, I'm going,
yeah,
damn, I'm playing a seamstress. I was like, oh, y'all are funny.
I ain't no seamstress. I'm no dancer. I'm not.
I play one. I'll play one on television.
I'll get an Emmy playing one on TV. When you sashayed back into the workroom after almost a decade of being away, and then, yeah, it's a TV show, but there's still a feeling when you walk into the workroom, that cold air, that open space, all the colors. What did you feel?
But no, see, it was cold in All-Star 6, but season 4, it was hot as
we didn't have money back then. We didn't have money back then. Remember, the budget was smaller. We got air conditioning in season 5. But what did it feel like? What went through your head when you walked back in?
I was like, okay, game on.
Yeah.
I was like, as soon as I turned that corner to walk into the actual, the pink doors, I was like, okay, game on. Like, like the strut changed because I was walking, but as soon as I turned that corner, the switch and the strut changed. And I was like, oh, here we go.
Here we go.
And it was great to be able to say my entrance line, even though they changed it now, but, it felt good to say, Mother did always say, may the best woman win. It felt great to say that. And then for Kylie to walk in right after and say, woo, girl, you got female. I said, oh my God, this is kismet that both me and her using 2 of like the catchphrases of RuPaul's Drag Race and turning it and making it, customized it for us. It was amazing. It felt so good. It just felt like the time was right.
Completely. You say like serendipitous, kismet, all of that. And I'm sorry, Bianca, but it's like the people always say, you know, the time, it's all about timing. It's all about timing. And I feel like, and no matter how far you go on the competitions, once you get to All-Stars, sure, you want the crown, but once you get to All-Stars, you won the game. Like, there's dozens of queens that have walked into the workroom, that have competed on Drag Race, that haven't been on All-Stars, that haven't had the chance to compete on that level. So it's like Jennifer Hudson. Yeah, she didn't win American Idol, but she has an Oscar. You know what I'm saying? She played Aretha Franklin. So I mean, it's like, you don't have to win the competition. Shangela didn't win, but she won. You know what I mean? Like, you don't have to win. But
not one. Shangela is winning.
Winning, right?
Shangela is continuously winning, and I'm like, and you know what they did to on All Stars? Shangela gave those girls the biggest FU because Shangela ended up in an Oscar movie.
Yeah,
an Oscar-winning movie. Yeah. Like, come on, like. You know, and then not for nothing, but thankfully, All Stars has been so good to me that there's another door that's opening for me, and I'm so excited. I cannot say anything about it yet, but I'm so excited that the doors are being opened for me because of All Stars.
Of course.
And I feel like I will never say I deserve something or I'm entitled to anything. I feel like it is just a time in the world where a woman like myself and my voice is being valued, and I'm being able to use my platform for something good.
Yeah.
And I cannot wait for like things to happen because I'm excited, because I feel like finally I can represent for myself and for the people that have supported me this whole time, and they're going to see some amazing stuff from me, and I'm excited for the world to see it.
Well, my next question was going to be, what's the future hold? But hey, it sounds like you have a lot going on.
It's really good. I cannot complain, and I will be honest, like, I'm so blessed because I feel like All Stars, like, even though it was short-lived, I feel like that little bit gave the world the opportunity to see so much more from me than I did in season 4.
Of course.
And I feel like the world is watching me in a way where they're paying attention. Mm-hmm. And I'm glad that I could show them what I'm made of, because the next, you know, like I am right now, Wigs in a Blanket is playing on Out TV and Fruit TV with Ginger Minj, and then in around winter, me, Peppermint, Kylie, and Carmen are going back in the studio to film Translation Season 2.
Nice.
You know, I'm just so proud of and these are babies that I helped create. You know, I'm executive producer of both these shows with Ginger and the girls. We came up with this, and I'm so proud of that. People are paying attention and they're looking at it, and I'm a proud woman of the work that I've been able to make since being on Drag Race. And Translation is definitely a special baby in my heart because it's our voices. And yes, we have Drag Race in common, but each woman on the panel has an important voice and an opinion that they're really letting the world know this is our journey, and this is the trans journey, and we're showcasing. And in season 2, we're going to showcase more than the trans female experience. We're going to talk to the trans men. We're talking to non-binary folk, and I cannot wait for the world to see more because it's so special. And Wigs in a Blanket, our season finale is next week. It's going to be a doozy. I cannot wait for people to see it. We have some special guests. It's going to be nuts. The brunch is finally going to happen, and I can't wait for people to see it.
Well, I mean, we can't wait to see everything, and congratulations, Bianca, and everything. One last question for you. May we still call you Jiggly?
You can always call me Jiggly. Everybody does.
All right.
You know, I did not realize that that's what RuPaul meant. Like, it was from a movie, and she was waiting for me at some point to be like, well, yes, darling, everybody does. And I'm like in my head going, what the fuck is she talking about?
Well, but look, it's one of the longest running Drag Race gags ever. So I mean, look, you're part of drag history. In addition,
but
to
I love that she has called other girls. May I call you Jiggly? She did it to Jaden. She did it to Silky. I was just like, damn, girl, you can't do that to these girls.
You're like, nah, you're like that room. That's me and yours moment. Don't be taking our moment and giving it to other bitches. It has been.
Hey, if she announces it, if she says it every season, I don't care, because as soon as that, like, my Instagram following comes up a little bit.
It's like, Miss Vanjie. May I call you?
Hello. I mean, not that big, but Jesus, I wish.
Bianca, it's been so good having you on the show again. So proud of you. Huge fan. Always been a huge fan. I think you're incredible. I think your evolution's been incredible. You're so talented, and you are a star. You're more than an all-star. You're a fucking star, and all the best to you.
Thank you so much, Jason. Thank you for having me.
Bye. Take care. We can't wait to see all your shows. Bye. Bye.